I will do Leetcode 2011, final value of variable after performing operations. So in this question, we're given an array of string type. I'm going to use Java, and we're asked to, given an initial value of x being 0, we're asked to either increment or decrement according to the value of the string that we see as we go through it. So in order to do this question, you need to know how to traverse the elements of an array, and then to be able to increment or decrement, that is add one or decrease by one the value of some running sum. And you also need to know how to be able to, in some case, how to compare a string. So let's go. Basically, you give an x initially 0, so you can make a variable x. I'm going to call it int x equals 0. And then we have to return that value, x, so I just put return right away. And in between, I'm going to write something that will traverse the array that we're given, array of string type operations here. So I'm going to do a traditional for loop with for, the first part being the initializer. You're going to make a int I equal to 0 and semicolon. And then the second part is the condition for which the loop will keep repeating. So as long as I is less than the length or number elements of the operations. In this case, it's a primitive array, so operations.length in Java will do it without any parentheses. And then semicolon, and then we need to increment, otherwise we got an infinite loop. So after every repetition, increment, and then it's going to check the condition and then execute the body of the loop. Now, in the body of the loop here, what I'm going to do, so there are different kinds of approaches. The first approach I'm going to tell you is what everybody would intuitively do, which is just string comparison. Okay, let's take a look at the current element in operations, right? Because for every element in operations, we either get this plus plus x, x plus plus, or minus minus x, x minus minus, and these are strings. So two cases only. The constraints, if you scroll down, is that they can only be that, right? That's an important piece. So one of them is to add x by 1, the other is to subtract. So if operations, so it's a primitive array at I, and that gives us back a string in Java. Now, if you want to compare a string in Java, you have to do dot equals, not double equals, because double equals would be the reference check. Equals to either plus plus x, and then you got to go the other case, or you can use outside the double pipe, which means or operations at that index, which is gives you that element dot equals x plus plus. And in that case, what we're going to do is we are going to increment x. So you can say that the new value of x is just x plus 1. You reassign that to x. Some people like doing the plus equals like this. Some people like just doing shorthand x plus plus. And then else, now else you can do the else if operations that I follow the same pattern equals minus minus x, or operations at I is equals to x minus minus. And then in that case, you're going to do the x is going to be reassigned to x minus 1. You can do the minus equals, or you can do x minus minus. Now, you don't even need to put the if here, because according to the constraints, there's only 4 possible cases. So if it's not this nor that, it can only be the negative ones. So you didn't even have to write the if part. You can just put else if you don't want to type a lot. Okay? And that should do as one of the solutions. Now you can see it's been accepted here. Let me increase this. For example, the first is minus minus x, the second is plus plus. So we have 0, then minus 1, or 0, and then 1 because the x plus plus. So we got output 1, which is expected. Okay, it's very simple. Now in this solution, you might argue, okay, for space is all of 1 because I'm not storing anything extra except for this single constant time array, constant space. And then for the time, well, we got the loop, that's O of n, right? But then we got, some people might argue, okay, it's at least O of n, but then I look at equals here. Is the string comparison, what's the time complexity of that? Because it's within the loop, right? So every single element will have to compare it. So if technically, If it was something variable, like a string that variable length, m, let's call it m, it would be O of n times m, right? Which could be quadratic. But because of the constraint, it's always going to be 3 characters. So I don't know. Do you think it should be argued it's O of 1 in this case? So therefore the total thing is O of 1. So I would like you to tell me what's your opinion on this. Anyway, I'm going to show you a solution that's O of n if you're strict about this stuff. So another solution is, okay, you notice that the constraints give you that x is either plus plus x plus plus, minus minus, and you notice the middle character is either plus or minus, right? For these two is plus, and for the other one is minus. So you can just check the middle character. So you can go here, okay, let's call mid char. Let's call that operations at I. So I gonna check, okay, is that a plus or is that a minus? Now, this check should be all of 1, right? Because there's only one check of one character. And then you can just go here and check, okay, if the mid char, right, is plus, if mid char is plus, that means we increment. Otherwise, it has to be minus, right? So if that is your constraint, that's a very O1 all event solution here. Now this has to be .get, sorry, char at, because I'm doing Java. And let's see what's going on. I need the I here. Sorry. Wait. That should be char of 1, sorry. Because 0, 1 is the mid. There you go. Operations at I because the primitive, and then char at I at 1, the mid character. And then that passes as well. Okay, so that's the trick. If it's you want strictly O of n for time, that's the deal here. Of course, it wouldn't work if you increase the number of operations, but due to these constraints, this is like the hack that works for this question. All right, let's submit. And there you go. Hey, thank you for watching. If you like this content, please consider making a donation so I can keep doing this for you. I'd really appreciate that if you could donate. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.